Welcome to Nintendo Ninja News. I'm your host, Chris Tysus, and welcome to 2016. It is our first video for the new year and our second year running, which is fantastic. We're still around and people are watching our videos more and more, which is a great thing. But today we're talking about the Game Boy. Why I think the Game Boy is still the king of handheld gaming, and it's been around since 1989 and released in 1989 and discontinued in 2003. This is one of the original boxes from a long time ago, and it looks beautiful, doesn't it? Very video game-like. And we just sit it around here. And this thing lasted between 1989 to 2003. The actual original Game Boy line. And we're talking about the original Game Boy line of the original, which is this, which we might show a little bit of music if it's even on. See? And then this is Super Mario Land. It's pretty cool, isn't it? But of course, you really can't see the images on it because it's quite poor. We'll just turn down the sound. So, part of the reason why I believe the Game Boy is better than the DS and the 3DS and probably the Game Boy Advance sort of era. It's still part of the Game Boy line, but it's definitely different. This thing lasted for many, many years. It lasted basically a 14-year dynasty in many ways. It sold 118 million over those years. The biggest game that it had was Tetris with over 30 million copies sold. And then towards the end of its life, after 7 years, we had Pokemon Red and Blue come out in 1996 in Japan, followed by the 1998 release of it worldwide, which was fantastic. And amazing to have a game like that come out pretty much at the end of the lifespan of the Game Boy's life. It also had the Pocket version, which I have, which is a much smaller, nicer version. Really nice on the hands too, and much, much lighter to put on the in your actual jeans pocket. Then you also had the color version, which I don't have here at the moment, somewhere else in my collection of handheld somewhere in my house. But of course, you look at the breadth of fantastic games that came out, and we'll just run down some of these games. We had The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Super Mario Land, Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. You had Metal Gear Solid on there. You had Metroid 2, Return of Samus, Legend of Zelda Ages and Seasons, 2 separate games. You also had Kirby Dream Land, fantastic game. Donkey Kong Land series. You had Harvest Moon, Game Boy Edition. You had Mario Tennis, Pokemon Trading Card Game, and Pokemon Pinball. And many, many other classics. There were hundreds of Game Boy games to choose from. And such an amazing sort of breadth of stuff that the Game Boy had. It also had competitors too. You know, it had the Lynx, it had the Game Boy, well, the Atari Lynx, the Sega Game Gear, and the Turbo Express. They all had better graphics. They all had better abilities, and that. But but the issue was that the battery life was not good enough, and the games weren't there, and that was one of the issues too. So that's why those consoles failed. One of the other interesting things was that it was the most female-friendly console, this little guy. 46% of gamers were female, compared to 29% on the Nintendo Entertainment System, which was quite interesting to hear about. So it was really interesting to see that female gamers were getting into it in the 90s. And with a 30-hour battery life, The Game Boy lasted for ages and ages and ages. It was a really phenomenal thing. And I think the reason why I still think it's the best console is because of its breadth of games, how long it lasted, and the impact it had on the portable handheld industry. Um, while the DS had more sales and the 3DS has the prettier graphics and the more features of online play and more in-depth games, the Game Boy should not be ignored for carving the way for all the other handhelds that came afterwards. So it is an amazing console. Both of these lines were quite amazing. It's hard to get them all fixed up, isn't it? There you go. So absolutely legendary stuff. And I was very happy to get this original box actually. So to get your hands on a Game Boy, well, you just have to go to your second-hand stores and really hunt around online on eBay in different places. But the Game Boy, still I think the best around, and a lot of fun I've been having playing on the Game Boy while playing other games too. So that's our first video for 2006. Hopefully I haven't dribbled on too much, but share us your thoughts on the Game Boy. What's your favourite handheld console by Nintendo? And what were your favourite games for the Game Boy? And that's it from me, and I shall see you later on.